You know, it's a funny thing. 31 years ago today, we won the mayoral race in Burlington, Vermont. And we won that race against all of the odds. Everybody said it couldn't be done. And when we began this race for the presidency, everybody said it couldn't be done. But tonight, I tell you with absolute confidence, we are going to win the Democratic nomination. And we are going to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of this country. We are going to win. We are going to defeat Trump because we are putting together an unprecedented grassroots, multi-generational, multiracial movement. It is a movement which speaks to the working families of this country who are sick and tired of working longer hours for low wages and seeing all new income and wealth going to the top 1%. It is a movement which says the United States will have health care for all as a human right. It is a movement that says we will bring major reforms in education, making sure that all of our kids can go to college without coming out in debt. Now, what makes this movement unique is we are taking on the corporate establishment. We are taking on the greed of Wall Street, the greed of the drug companies who charge us the highest prices in the world, the greed of the insurance companies, and given the existential crisis of climate change, we are saying to the fossil fuel industry, their short-term profits are not more important than the future of our country and the world. But we are not only taking on the corporate establishment, we're taking on the political establishment. But we're going to win because the people understand it is our campaign, our movement, which is best positioned to defeat Trump. You cannot beat Trump with the same old kind of politics. What we need is a new politics that brings working class people into our political movement, which brings young people into our political movement, and which in November will create the highest voter turnout in American political history. So we're going to beat Trump because this will become a contrast in ideas. One of us in this race led the opposition to the war in Iraq. You're looking at him. Another candidate voted for the war in Iraq. One of us has spent his entire life fighting against cuts in Social Security, wanting to expand Social Security. Another candidate has been on the floor of the Senate calling for cuts to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and Veterans Programs. One of us led the opposition to disastrous trade agreements which cost us millions of good-paying jobs. And that's me. And another candidate voted for disastrous trade agreements. One of us stood up for consumers.
All right, so we've been watching and listening to Senator Bernie Sanders in his home state of Vermont. He has been declared the winner in Vermont. No big surprise there. That's the home state. He's also won Colorado. A lot of excited supporters, but we're still waiting to hear. Maine has not been called just yet, and he was leading in the polls there. And California is going to be late, but he's been in a big lead there. And Utah, it's been in the Sanders column as far as the polls are concerned, but the results haven't been called yet. But Biden has won a number of states tonight: North Carolina, Virginia, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Alabama, Minnesota, and it looks like he's going to win Massachusetts as well. We're still waiting to see what happens here in Texas, but I was looking at the delegate count, and it looks like Biden is now in a very big lead with 296 delegates, Sanders with 184 delegates, and it all comes down to the delegates. So let's talk a little bit about this with our panel. We'll start with Allison, and we'll make our way around to Tina.
Sure. Well, I think it actually all comes down to Texas, right? So if Sanders wins Texas and maybe California, then it doesn't really matter, right, that Biden got the other smaller states. Sanders will have won where it counts for his campaign. So we'll see definitely when the math shakes out from the evening where we go from here.
Warren.
Well, it seems pretty clear to me that I think Biden's going to wind up with the crown at the end of the day. It's just a matter of whether or not he's going to be able to keep his team of front runners unified as he goes in. And of course, we hope it all falls apart. And I didn't see anything to suggest here that it wouldn't, but we'll see.
Nancy.
I agree with Allison. You know, he's got to get 228 electoral votes. It's in Texas. As we said, that's, you know, I don't do math, but it's about 15% of the overall 1991, just kind of ballparking it. We're significant. And then, of course, you look at California, it's hard to compete. So we all come down to, we're in this until there's a convention.
You still think this is going all the way to the convention?
Yeah, we don't see Bloomberg pulling out, and Biden's going to keep plugging along.
Brandon.
You know, Bernie's had the momentum, and up until the last 24, 48 hours, you know, it was looking like this could have been a blowout day for Bernie. But, oh, what a difference 24 hours can make. You know, the announcements, someone mentioned earlier, you know, seeing Beto up there on stage, I did not expect that. You know, we were all like, Amy's coming, Amy's going to be here with him. There's a private jet, you know, chartered from South Bend, and then next thing you know, Beto's on stage, and you're like, well, where'd that come from? So it's going to be continuing through the night, kind of seeing where this goes, where it plays out with this race. You know, several other races that I'm really interested in. Really interested to see what's going to happen with some of these Texas House races as we think about, you know, the future of the Texas House, if that could flip this year. So it's going to be a long night of watching. It's going to be a long. I see you over there shaking the head, but it's going to be a long night of watching. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely, it will be fun. It is always fun. This is my hobby. I just don't have as much money as Mike Bloomberg.
None of us do combined, for sure. Not even close.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, look, we're watching it. It's all coming down. This is what it should be like. right? We should have so many people invested in going to the polls. And I'm looking forward to see, I'm actually very, very interested to see what happens convention-wise and how many people, whether we see an increase in each party's convention attendance and participation. I mean, look at Democrat state convention, right? If with the way things are looking right now, y'all could have one big party. I'll say it that way. That was not the first word that came to my mind, but you know. And look, Republicans, we're going to have a blast, and and it'll be interesting to see. I want to see how many of those new people that we saw in 2016 for the first time at convention. How many of them some of them came back for 18 because of the Senate race. Well, now we're here in 2020. This will be a big indicator for whether our complacency level, if we settle back down, or if we're really ready to engage and fight this.
Well,
so I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Tina, Brandon, Nancy, Warren, Allison, thank you so much for joining us on our Super Tuesday primary special here on CBSDFW.com. We are going to take a break and get ready for CBS 11 News at 10. We certainly hope you will join us there for all of the latest election night results. I'm Jack Fink. From all of us here at CBS 11, good night until then.